The best way to live a good life is to have a grand quest and to do everything in your power to achieve that quest. Welcome to McBain Moments. Before I get started, please take a moment to subscribe. If this is the first time you've been to my channel, I want to welcome you to the manor. We are on the road to 13 million subscribers, one subscriber at a time. Okay, so you have to have a grand quest. What does that mean? So a grand quest is your ultimate purpose. Do you have a purpose? Do you have a reason for doing your day-to-day grind? It doesn't even really matter what the purpose is overall, as long as it's something that you want to accomplish. And I think that's a mistake a lot of people make. They decide that, well, I don't have a grand quest because I don't have necessarily a huge dream. You know, your huge dream could be the standard milquetoast, American dream of owning a house, a land, and 2.5 children. There's nothing wrong with that. And in fact, for a lot of people, that's very achievable. I am of the school that your grand quest should be somewhat unachievable or extremely difficult to achieve. Now, there are going to be goals, quests in between that you have to do, and those can, add up to where your ultimate desire is. And maybe your grand quest is far beyond what you actually, it's like so far beyond this is the perfect future for you. And I mean, we live in reality, so we know that's not going to happen. But if you think about it, the bigger you think, the more likely you are to grow into it. And that sounds counterintuitive, but hear me out for a minute. And I got thinking about this because of a number of authors. I've mentioned them all before: Jordan Peterson, Grant Cardone, Jeffrey Gitomer. And I think this one actually came out of the 10X rule, which I'll link below. It is the idea that if you set a large goal, even a huge goal, something that is completely out there, if you make 10% of that goal, you're a lot further along than if you only made 10% of a goal that was half as big. And that really sparked something. That took me a little while to digest, because I like to kind of let the thoughts and the ideas simmer for a while and bubble and figure things out. And this is what I do on my lunch break. I walk in circles and I figure out things. Kind of like Tyrion Lannister. I do drink, but I don't drink while I'm at work. So I was thinking about that, and it's like, okay, so ultimately what we need, because like Peterson talks about purpose, and Cardone talks about goals, and Locke talks about goals. You need a purpose. You need to have, and I'm a gamer, so any purpose or mission, that becomes a quest, because you walk up to the guy and they got the little exclamation point over their head, and you got to take the quest and you move on to the next one. So bing, exclamation point pops up, and because there was no one there to give me this quest, it was kind of in the amorphous air. And it goes, you have to find a grand quest. And so I took some time to figure out what I wanted my grand quest to be, and I'm still distilling what I want that grand quest to be, because it's not easy to kind of come up with a life purpose. You can come up with a meta goal, a pie in the sky, but is that really my purpose, or is that what I'm aiming for to achieve the purpose that's underlying it? Because the meta goal doesn't necessarily have to be the purpose. For instance, if I wanted to build an organization that can help a lot of people, the first thing I need to do is raise a lot of money. And so the meta goal might be to raise $50 million. But I'm not raising the $50 million for the sake of having $50 million. Maybe I'm raising $50 million for the sake of helping 50 million people. And yes, I know I'm using ridiculous numbers here, but the concept behind it is that the actual goal, the underlying goal may not be, or the underlying quest, the thing you are looking to accomplish may not be always the overlying goal. And so you have to kind of reconcile those two things, because you got to take what it is you want to do, and you have to break it down. What will it take to accomplish this? Okay, now let's break down the pieces into bits that I can actually do, and then be willing to put the effort forth over time to move toward it. But no matter what, it doesn't matter how long it takes. It doesn't matter if you don't even get there by the time you're 80 and in a rocking chair and not able to move anymore. And I'm hoping that by the time I'm 80, I can still move around a lot, because, well, retirement kills my family. What matters is that you worked yourself toward it your whole life. You put the effort forth. You never gave up. I'm going to say that again. You never gave up. And every day you took that little step, because even if you fall short, falling short of a big goal usually brings you farther than falling short of a small goal. You can achieve anything you set your mind to if you honestly want to do it. If you honestly are willing to put in the work. And that's the hard part, because humans by their nature tend to only want to do just enough. And we have a culture of doing just enough. Just enough to get to the next step. Just enough to make the paycheck. Just enough to be able to go home and pay the bills. We're a culture of just enough. We're a culture of simmering mediocrity. And I'll be the first to admit that I too fall into that trap a lot. Every day I have to remind myself, hey, get out of bed. Hey, no more mediocrity. And it's because there's nothing wrong with mediocrity. And that's the irony. It's because there's nothing wrong with mediocrity that we accept mediocrity. But it doesn't get us to our goals. You can live a good life and have it be completely mediocre, and there is nothing wrong with that. For some people, that's a great accomplishment, because that's what they're aiming for. Fine, if that's your goal, more power to you. But if you want to achieve more, give yourself that long, hard look in the mirror and say, what can I be doing now to move just one little step in the direction that I would like to go? One little step toward the grand quest. And then look at yourself and say, what is my grand quest? What is my grand quest? What am I after? What do I want to accomplish? Who do I want to help? Because when you can finally answer those questions, you may find that it's a lot bigger than you thought. Please take a moment and subscribe. If you like this video, please make sure you share. This has been a McBain moment.